Hey, what's up, everybody?
What's going on?
This is Tony.
And I'm Jenny.
And we are Lido Loca, and this is our Celebrity Equinox Fluffy Cruiser review. Thanks so much for stopping by. If you're brand new here, if you're into cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of our new content. Jenny, it may be a surprise to new viewers or maybe not, but we are what you would consider fluffy cruisers. Sometimes people don't know what that means. We are cruisers of size. We are not the smallest people. So some of our concern when we go on a cruise ship is, will we fit in the places we need to fit on a cruise ship?
Yeah, like a seat.
Like a seat. So we're going to go through a few categories and tell you whether or not the Celebrity Equinox is fluffy friendly. Now, one of the most intimate, one of the most personal, one of the most private is the bathroom in the cabin. Mm-hmm. Jenny, did you feel like the bathroom was fluffy friendly?
I felt like the shower was of adequate size. The toilet was a little tight, the area. But otherwise, yes, it was very friendly.
Yeah, so fortunately for us, we lost a little size before we went on this cruise. And so I was really excited. They had the pod configuration. I like to call it the shower pod, where you get in, you close the doors, like Star Trek. I was able to turn around in the shower with ease, so I could do it. I fit well in the shower. The configuration of the throne of the toilet, sometimes you had to put your leg against the little sink area and a leg against the shower. It was a little tight, but it was workable.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a thumbs up on fluffy friendly. Could have been a little more room around the toilet, but shower definitely.
Yeah, shower's good. Commode,
The rest of the room, we had a balcony cabin that had a couch. The cool thing is the couch was next to the closet. The bed wasn't, so it was really easy to maneuver around. And the balcony was big, and the chairs in the balcony were very accommodating.
The chairs were very comfortable out there. They had a little table. And yeah, like you said, you didn't have to squeeze in between the bed to get to the closet.
Yeah, so I feel like it was fairly fluffy friendly.
Yeah, good setup.
So much of our other fluffy concerns are around seating. And for us, we like to go eat in the main dining room. We like to eat in specialty restaurants. And a lot of times, those more upscale environments, they'll have arms on their chair. And if you're a person that has wide thighs or a big behind, sometimes getting in between those arms...
big butts and I cannot lie.
That's right. Sometimes getting between those arms can be challenging. Mm-hmm. The cool thing about the Celebrity Equinox, I'm going to give it a thumbs up on the dining room sitting. They had both chairs that had arms, and they had chairs that did not have arms. And once you got to know them, they would automatically fix you up.
Right. Now, that was in blue.
Yeah.
Where we were at.
Yeah.
But in the MDR, they did not have that. And those seats were a little tight.
You didn't get an armless chair in the MDR?
Mm-hmm. No.
Okay, I take that back. I thought that day we had an armless chair, but maybe I fit in an armchair.
So it is armless, but it's like rounded.
Oh.
So like there's a little bit of a arm.
I know what you're saying.
Guess.
Yeah. So the MDR not as friendly as what we had in blue.
Correct.
Okay. So you might have some challenges in the MDR.
Well, I mean, I was able to sit in there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't
super
comfortable. Right.
Now
at blue it was, though. I'm sorry.
Yeah, blue was great.
Blue was perfect.
The buffet also good options. If you are fluffy, you could find chairs with no arms that pulled in and out. You could sit in the tables moved away from the
booth.
The booth, yeah. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like a full booth, like a back, right?
Right.
So you'd have a booth and a table and then a chair. You could fit in that configuration all day long.
Absolutely.
It was good. So I would give that a thumbs up on the fluffy friendly for the buffet. The one that's a big deal for me is the theater, the main theater. Now the main theater had primarily auditorium style seating that had arms. Now peppered in between some of those were two seats together that did not have an arm. So that was a little fluffy friendly. Mm-hmm. But what was cool is on the second floor of the theater, they had, and they had it on the first floor too. They had bars there that had high chairs that did not have arms. So you could, and this actually turned out to be great because they had drink service there in the theater. So you could sit in one of these chairs that were super comfortable. You could, put your arms on the bar, and you could also get a drink. So the theater, if you are of size, There's definitely, you might not sit on the front row, but there's definitely places for you to sit in that theater and not miss the show.
I agree. The high chairs, they were comfortable. They were not so easy to get up for me.
That's true.
But I was able to get up there. But I would have to come down like every half hour. But that's any high chair. My legs just feel weird when I'm up there.
Go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it definitely could fit in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
One that we haven't talked about in previous Fluffy Cruisers report is a tender situation.
Mm-hmm.
And we've never had a tender that's been that tight, right? It might be tight to get on, but the tenders that we took to Grand Cayman, the seating was big enough.
Yeah, the tenders are just like a box that you sit on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those worked out well. And the other thing I want to talk about, sometimes when you're fluffy, you could have mobility issues or trouble walking. And so I want to talk a little bit about the ports at Costa Maya, at Cozumel, and at Key West. We'll start with our first port. It was at Key West. The cool thing is we docked at the Naval Pier, and there's no way you could walk off the Naval Pier. So their local company, their Old Time Trolley, had a shuttle that would take you to Mallory Square. So that worked out perfectly. We have ported at another place in Key West, and that was a decent amount of walking. But for us on this cruise, Key West was perfect because you got right out, you got onto a shuttle, and they took you. Now the shuttle was a little tight. They had, sitting on the shuttle side by side could be a little challenging. Mm-hmm. So moving on, when we went to Cozumel, let me just tell you, there's a lot of walking at Cozumel. Now we were at the pier that has the Margaritaville. Mm-hmm. And previously we'd been there and they had pedicabs. Well, they did not have pedicabs. And so to get to the cab stand there in Cozumel, we probably walked more than a half of a mile to get to the cab stand. So that's a lot of walking.
Yeah, where were the pedicabs that day?
No pedicabs that day.
Mm-mm.
And then coming back, they dropped us off even further. This is the other thing you have to be wary of. We took a cab and said drop us off at the cruise port, and they dropped us off at a shopping center that you had to walk through to get to the cruise port, and that made that walk close to a mile.
Right.
It was not fun.
No.
Costa Maya, a decent-sized pier, not a long walk, maybe 5 to 6 minute walk to get to the port of Costa Maya, but if you were going to walk all the way from the cruise ship to where the taxis would pick you up to take you out of Costa Maya, take you out of the pier area, that's over a half a mile also, and no pedicab. So if you have mobility issues, could be a challenge. So overall, the seating worked out fairly well for me on most situations. Jenny, were there any seats that were challenging for you?
Yeah, so again, I'm going to go to like the areas, like the outside area on outside deck 5. There was not comfortable seating at all. And then up in the by the pool, those seats were not fluffy friendly at all.
Right. So if you weren't going to use a lounger, if you were going to try to sit at the mast grill or sit at the mast bar,
right,
those were seats with arms.
Yeah. That's right, and they were tiny.
Yeah.
Up by the lawn, they have benches and they have really nice oversized seating. Those 2 areas were probably the only time that it was a difficult time. Everywhere else, the seating was really good.
Yeah, that is one thing. You could easily, there were a lot of couches, there were a lot of big chairs, so there were a lot of opportunities. But yeah, you're right, on the pool deck, we didn't sit much out there because there wasn't a lot of places for us to sit.
Right.
All right, so overall, I'm going to give the Celebrity Equinox a thumbs up on fluffy friendly. It was fairly accommodating. There wasn't any time where I had to not do anything, skip something because I couldn't find a place to sit or to feel comfortable. And so if you are a person of size, I can easily recommend the Equinox.
Yeah, I'm also going to give it a thumbs up to fluffy friendliness. Even if they didn't set out to accommodate that kind of cruiser, I think they did a really good job. Yes, there are areas that aren't friendly, but there are so many more areas that are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, all right, guys. Thanks so much for stopping by. We have done some other fluffy friendly reports. I will link those in the description below. If you're brand new here, consider subscribing. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please hit the like button. We've got a lot of other videos from the Celebrity Equinox. I'll leave that playlist also in the description. Thanks a lot for stopping by. My name's Tony.
And I'm Jenny.
And we are Lido Loca. And until the next time.
We'll see you on the Lido.
We'll see you on the Lido.
Bye.
Bye.